First of all, Josh, I welcome all the people to our show, of course, but I swear I'm getting better and better at this intro every week.
It is. The timing is.
Come on, let's be real here. That timing was something else.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
How you doing, Josh? How we feeling on this Monday?
Yeah, it was a tough day yesterday.
No, it wasn't.
I called it. I didn't watch too much football after that Panthers game, so it was a tough Sunday. Today was decent. We got Bug a nice new big bone, but he's still not allowed in here because he would not care about the bone if he knew the show was live. So he's still with Dad, but
true.
The bone's like it's
big
huge.
Bone guy, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got one of those.
Okay, good for him.
How are you, Connie? How are you?
First day back in classes today after that Thanksgiving break. Let me tell you something. I'm not with it. Although I didn't really do much today, we just kind of went over like a project that we already did, and like he gave us back some stuff. But that first day back, let me tell you something. My body's used to the 4 a.m. Go to sleep, wake up at about 12:30. That when that alarm clock went off at 10 o'clock, almost shed a tear. Yeah, listen, it's 10 o'clock, so people are still gonna jump me for that. Listen, that's only 6 hours, people.
Yeah, I need that full 8 hours. That full 8 hours.
And I'll probably never get it again.
No,
because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Ready? This is going to be my schedule because me and Josh talking in the pre-show. And before I get into everything, people, we can't see your stuff on Twitter anymore. Kind of lame. Like really, StreamYard and Twitter, you can't come together, make it easy for your boys. But it's fine. It's fine. Just go over to my Twitch, Anthony_Conover, or the Unwrapped Facebook, or Josh's Facebook for that matter, or the Generational Sports YouTube, or the Unwrapped YouTube, and you can leave your comments there. You can interact with us, of course, because like I say every week, me and Josh have wonderful conversations all the time. But it's the people that we truly enjoy, Josh.
Absolutely, man. We need the interaction. It's the best part.
But anyway, back to my struggles. Ready? So, like I said, I'll never be able to get a full 8 hours again because I started watching Succession, like I told you in the little pre-show. So, even last night I was staring at the clock. I got off Xbox at late, about 1 o'clock. Reasonable though, because listen, even then I'm still getting 8 hours. Right. In fact, I would have been able to wake up early, 9 o'clock, if I got 8 hours. But no, I watched a nice Cast Nasty YouTube video, one of the goats, and then I was like, it's 2 o'clock, but I'm really feeling an episode of Succession right now. So then it's about 2:30, right, when I start that. And I didn't even realize that I was already halfway through the episode. So I finished the episode. I look up at the clock. It's 3. And then something had happened that previous episode that I kind of want to see. I was like, I really shouldn't watch this episode. I'm not going to. I ended up watching it. So it's 4 in the morning now. 4 in the morning. And then, of course, you would think right after that I should be dead tired. Your boy couldn't fall asleep. I ended up falling asleep at 4:30. 4:30. I got the music playing in my ear because ever since I started listening to podcasts and stuff that night, I can't go to sleep without listening to something now. So I'm drifting in and out of consciousness over here, and it was that alarm clock going off at 10 was not fun. I'll just say that. But all right, enough of my troubles. Everybody has them, I guess. So, Josh, I guess we go on into the show, and we start off. Of course, listen, we talk about football all the time, so we're not going to start there. We're going to get to. We're not starting there. We're going to a little UFC here, Josh. Rob Font, Jose Aldo. I didn't even know that they were fighting. Listen, I leave it to Josh to pay attention to these things. So, Josh, give me your prediction because, well, I'm going to go with Aldo because that's the only person I know.
Yeah, they're both coming off of really good victories. Jose Aldo, last time I had to apologize to him after his fight because I said that Pedro Munoz was going to knock him out and that Aldo was past his prime and just didn't have it anymore. And then he goes out and breaks his own personal record for most significant strikes landed. And I was like, yeah, he's still Jose Aldo. So he's coming off a good win. Yeah. Rob Font's coming off a win against Cody Garbrandt. And I'm pretty sure I picked Cody Garbrandt in that fight too. So they're both coming off pretty impressive victories. both fighting really well right now. So this should be a really good main event. But I got to go with Aldo this time, just because I went against him last time. I think he's a better fighter than Font. But I wouldn't be surprised if Font wins either, because he's fighting the best of his career right now. So should be a really good fight. Two veterans of the sport, very technical fighters. So should be a very good fight.
You know, like I said, I go with Aldo because he's the person I know. So from there, we move on over to the NBA real quickly as well. See, people, we're not just a one-trick pony over here. The Rockets and John Wall, you know, they're starting to talk a little bit because, you know, originally going into the season, Josh, I remember that it was John Wall's not playing for the Rockets. It's just not going to happen until they trade him, all this, that, and blah, blah, blah. I heard a little something that, you know, maybe it's like, maybe I'll play. Maybe I'll play, but, you know, then there's still, is he going to get traded, this or that? So if he was to get traded, what's that destination for you?
Yeah, like you said, originally the whole plan was like John's not going to play. But the past week or so, I think John Wall was like, because it's really tough to trade a guy who's not a starter or all-star right now that's making $40+ million. It's kind of tough to find someone able to take on that salary. And
you know, listen, I could do the same thing John Wall's doing right now for like $5.
I mean, he's got $91 million left to make on his contract. So, but yeah, they talked recently. They want John Wall to come off the bench so that they can still develop their young core. He wants him to kind of just be like a veteran on the court. He says no. He wants to be the starter. He knows he still has a lot of career left. And I'm a big John Wall fan. I think a lot of people forget that those years, 2012 to about 2015, before he tore a bunch of stuff in his knees, he was top 3-point guard in the league. I mean, he was taking Washington to the second round every year. He was an elite player, and a lot of people forget that. But now with injuries and getting traded for Westbrook and winding up on this Rockets team in this situation, it just doesn't fit him. So I think it's most likely going to end up in some sort of agreement on a buyout, because I see it being impossible. Either he's going to sit on Houston until his contract is up in the next few years, or someone's going to be willing to take on the contract. I don't see it, so I see some type of buyout. And if that does happen, the teams I think that could really use him, I think the Bucks could be a team that uses him. Drew Holiday hasn't been 100% healthy this year. They're not a top seed right now. I think while you're waiting for Drew to stay healthy, waiting for Chris and Giannis to get back into their groove, stay healthy, John Wall's a guy that's ready to play right now. I think they could use him out there as a point guard to facilitate the offense. I think he'd be a good addition for them. A team that recently just announced that the big point guard they got this offseason, Kemba Walker's out of the rotation. I think the Knicks.
I was hoping you didn't say it. I wanted to steal it from you.
I think because if they're not going to go with Kemba, it just really leaves Emmanuel Quickly to really run that offense.
Oh no, baby, Alex Burke starting point guard.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They want a big body point guard to be able to run that offense. John Wall is. I mean, he's about the same size as Alec Burks. I'm excited to see what Alec Burks could do running that offense, though. But I think John Wall, he loves the big stage. It doesn't get bigger than New York and Madison Square Garden. I think he'd be a good addition for them, especially with no Kemba anymore. Because, you know, Kemba was having a very bad year, but, I mean, he was doing his part. He wasn't supposed to average 20 like he did in Charlotte anymore. That's not his role anymore, and I think people got used to seeing him do that. But he's a team player first, so that's why it wasn't working out. So I think John Wall will be good there. And then Denver, I think with, you know, no Jamal Murray the rest of the year. Michael Porter Jr. is probably out because his back is out. I know he's out for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I know he's out for the foreseeable future. So they really don't have too much over there besides Jokic. I think you bring in a guy like John Wall, at least keeps them in playoff contention, takes a lot of the pressure off Jokic handling the ball, because now it's just really Monte Morris is the only point guard they have, and he's a very good point guard. But I think getting John Wall would be huge for them. So those are my three teams. I think the Bucks, Knicks, Denver, middle of the pack playoff teams that I think could use his type of playmaking and scoring.
So my main one was going to be the Knicks, just because of, like you said, the news that came out today with Kemba Walker. And like that's the thing too. He's not demoted from the starter to a bench. He's out of the rotation.
He's done right now.
Like, he's not playing at all. And a lot of people probably thought like, oh, they'll probably just bump up D Rose as starting point guard. They're not, because they want to keep the second unit the same second unit they've been going with all year. Because I believe the second unit for the Knicks is actually the best 5 in the entire NBA. With
Obi Toppin's like his net rating is insane. Like,
and that was the thing. That was the thing with Kemba. They were, I believe, they were the 29th ranked offensive team with Kemba on the floor, and then like the last ranked team on defense while with him on the floor, and then when him off the floor, they're like the 3rd best defense and like one of the top 5 offenses. So it just wasn't working. It would have been a nice story. Kemba's from the area, but here, listen, let me shake things up. Right, a buyout. So he gets bought out. So that means what? Any team that signs is going to take the league minimum, I would assume, correct?
Yeah, most likely.
Now, would you say he can start?
I'd say he's good enough to start. Yeah.
Listen, it's not going to happen, but I would love it to happen. And listen, they have a nice record right now, but they don't really beat teams that are actually good. It's kind of a fluffed little record if you look at it. I'm just saying. Nets, you trade Kyrie, get bench players back that make you a deeper team. You keep KD and hope that Harden figures out how to play basketball again, because he's being let off the hook right now because Kyrie's still the story. It's the fact that he can't play right now, but Harden is awful. Like, he's not good at this moment. Like, he is. It's a fact. He's not good right now. So you take Harden, you put him at that number 2 slot, you let KD be the number 1 as per usual. You slide John Wall in there to run the offense, facilitate everybody else. You trade Kyrie for a bunch of bench players and make your team deeper.
I thought about Brooklyn. They're having such an easy time using their new additions, Patty Mills and Paul Millsap, and even getting LaMarcus back. They actually took Blake Griffin. Like, the same thing that happened to Kemba is happening to Blake Griffin now. He's out of the rotation now too. And he was starting just last week, and they announced today that he's out too. So I like him there, especially because I think he realizes now he's not going to be the man of any team he goes to. If Houston's not going to allow him to be the star he was in Washington, there's no other team that's going to let him. So if he's willing to go in Brooklyn and do the dirty work, just not get a ton of shots, be a Bruce Brown kind of player, just, more impactful offensively, I think, I really like him in Brooklyn. I think that'd be a good, especially because Kyrie's not going to play. He's not going to play. No. And like you said, James Harden he's trash. He is not doing anything good. And KD's carrying that team. And you're right, they have a good record too. I think they're still a top 3 seed right now. So I think I like that fit. I mean,
they destroy teams under 500. I think they're like 1-6 or something like that against teams that are over 500. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're fluffing up your record right now against teams that aren't very good. But listen, if you can have, KD and Harden in their same roles, and then you could have John Wall, all he needs, I'm happy with a quiet 12 to 15 a game.
Yeah, he'll get you 7-8 assists. He's a great defender. He can guard bigger players. I mean, he can do so much. A lot of people don't know how good John Wall is. They just hate on him because he can't shoot. And that's what a lot of players nowadays get hate for, is because they're not elite shooters. But everything else out there, John Wall can do that with the best of them. So I hope he lands somewhere. I'm tired of seeing him sit on the bench. He needs to be somewhere playing.
I think it would be very interesting, though. I really, really do. But with that being said, we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, as we usually do. It's the NFL, baby. The gift that keeps on giving. And you know what? The Patriots are just giving out L's every single week, and I love it. A 6-game winning streak. I believe during that winning streak, they have the number 1 scoring defense, and just to throw it in there, the number 1 scoring offense as well. I told you this was a big stretch. This was a big stretch for the Patriots. They had the Titans, who, hey, listen, until yesterday, we're the number 1 seed in the conference. They have the Bills twice, and they got the Colts. So this is a big stretch. I said I was happy with 2-2, and we're off to a good start. We are off to a good start. So, just the thoughts on the game. This was a weird game in a way because I don't think the Patriots played exceptionally well. I believe the Titans had 2 running backs over 100 yards. I think the Patriots gave up like 250 or 70 rushing yards on the game, which is obviously something you don't want. But the defense came up clutch when they needed to. You have the one Titan running back, streaking up the middle of the field, and J.C. Jackson comes over, punches it out. Jalen Mills recovers the fumble on the sideline before it can get out of bounds. You have the Titans, at the 2-yard line going for it on the 4th and goal, which really iced the game because, like Ryan Tannehill throws it over the middle, McCourty bats it into the air, and there's that man, J.C. Jackson, with another interception, Mr. INT, as the nickname fits him so very well. And then, the offense did what it was supposed to. Kendrick Bourne made an unbelievable play. I have no idea how he scored on that little slant route they did across the middle. ESPN always does their stupid little next gen stats. Hey, look at that. It's the number 1 play as I'm watching right now. I guess he got 24 more yards than was expected on that play. Or whatever the hell that means. I hate, bro, listen, I get in trouble for it all the time. I really hate next gen stats and everything. People be hitting me with defensive efficiency over something. How many yards did they give up? How many yards did they give up, bro? I don't know what defensive efficiency over, allotted amount means. Just give me how many yards they gave up. All right. I still listen, I might got glasses on, so that means I got 4 eyes. I can see the game even better. They ran the ball like they were supposed to. Mac Jones made the throws he had to. Had over 300 yards. And you want to know why he threw over 300 yards, Josh?
Why?
Because I went on Underdog Fantasy, which, by the way, if you didn't know, you could use code GENZ to double your first deposit up to $100. Just saying, just throwing it out there if you wanted to know. I went over there and I placed Mac Jones under, I believe, his yards, which were about 220. And so, of course, he throws for 300, which is only the second time he's done it this year. And, because, Mac Jones, even in blowout wins, he threw 3 touchdowns in the game this year at 198 yards. And, of course, this is the game he decides to throw for over 300. Just, my luck. But I'm not mad about it at all. Couldn't even tell you. So, Mac throws for over 300, doesn't make any mistakes. Kendrick Bourne makes a nice play. The Patriots defense came up clutch when it had to. I think the Titans had 4 turnovers, I believe. And if you're going to have 4 turnovers in the game, unless you are the Ravens, apparently, you're not going to lose that game, or you're not going to win that game, I was going to say. So just an overall solid game out of them. Like I said, I still don't think that they really played that well, especially on the defensive end. I know they had those takeaways, but giving up 2 100-yard rushers at home is kind of crazy to me. I didn't think I would see that. And then, the big question is, are your boys the favorites in the AFC? Now, I would love to tell you yes. But here's my thing, Josh. And I've said it on the show before, this. I'm a big context guy. I'm a big fan of context, right? So let me pull up the Patriots schedule real quick. Because, listen, I might be a fan, but I don't, remember every single game off the top of my head. So this 6-game winning streak, you know what? This is the worst graphic I've ever seen in my entire life. I use it on the hard count, but CBS has a terrible way of navigating their games. Not a fan. Absolutely not a fan of it. But listen, I'm stalling here, but we're gonna figure it out. Here we go. Thank you, ESPN. See, you make my life easier. So the 6-game winning streak, right? They beat the Jets. Any team should beat the Jets. Literally everybody, besides the Texans. Which I didn't even know that the Texans lost yesterday until 3 hours after the game.
Yeah.
My dad came in my room. He was like, "Yeah, I can't believe the Jets won today." I said, "Did they really?" At one point, I saw it was 14-3. I was like, okay, well, that game's over now. Listen, I'm in the New York market. Does not mean I'm watching a Jet game. Then they beat the Chargers. I would say that's impressive. I would. Then they go and beat your Panthers. I'm giving that a below average win, especially now. Then they go and beat Cleveland. Right now, that's an average win with the way that they've been looking recently. Am I wrong?
Yeah, with Baker all banged. I'd say generally that's a good win, but I don't even think Chubb was fully healthy.
Chubb didn't even play in that game. He had COVID. Kareem Hunt was out.
Oh yeah.
And Baker. You know what Baker's injury status is?
What?
He doesn't even have an injury. His injury is listed as numerous.
Numerous. That's the worst.
He has a foot injury. No. See, here's what I don't understand. How do you have a foot injury and a heel injury? Isn't that all the same, foot? Unless it's a different foot, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
so he's got two blown tires.
Yeah.
It was like Wentz earlier in the year where he sprained both ankles.
Two sprains.
Unbelievable. So you got foot injury, heel injury. I believe his ribs.
He's got a knee problem too. He's got something wrong with his
knee. And his shoulder. So I'll give the Patriots a mid victory on that. Then they beat Atlanta. Doesn't even count. Terrible team. And then they beat Tennessee yesterday, which I would usually be very happy about, but this is why I got into the conversation of context. Now, Josh, if I tell you the Bills go in and they beat the Chiefs, but all right, on the surface, is that a good win?
Absolutely.
Let's pretend this is last year even.
Yeah, beating the Chiefs is huge.
Okay. Now, if I tell you they beat the Chiefs, but without Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and I'll say Clyde.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, makes sense. That's basically all there.
But it's not an impressive win anymore,
Huh.
See, the Patriots beat the Titans handily, may I add, but without A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, or Derrick Henry. So, am I happy that it's a 6-game winning streak? You're goddamn right. Now, am I happy that that they're first in offense and defense? Absolutely. But listen, NFL teams play bad NFL teams every week. They still don't, put up 56 on the Jets. They still don't blow out Tennessee or blow out the Browns. Even yesterday, we think the Ravens are all this. They won by a touchdown. So, I'm happy, but I'm not over the moon. And listen, you can only play the people on your schedule. But I'm tampering the expectations. And I know I get heat from, you're a Patriot fan, whatever. Listen, I'm objective. So, we're going to find out. They play at Buffalo next week on Monday Night Football. God, is that going to be good. Then they play the Colts, who just played the defending Super Bowl champions. Very tough. We'll get into that game. They play Buffalo again. So these next 3 games is where I think it'll mean a lot to me. And then, they finish out the season with Jacksonville and Miami. So, we already know what's going to happen there. Doesn't even count. So I'm excited. I'm happy, but I'm playing it close to the vest.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, on the game, I think you're right. I think it was much more competitive than the score really shows. I think it was still a pretty winnable game for Tennessee almost through 3 quarters. So yeah. I just think that towards the end of the game, Tannehill made some mistakes, and then that fumble by Foreman was huge momentum shift for the Patriots right there. But yeah, like you said, there's meaning behind all these wins. You can win 6 games, but when Baker's walking around in a full body cast and you're playing the Titans with Ryan Tannehill and the 3rd string team, it's pretty reasonable that you guys would win those games, but it's still impressive nonetheless because it's not like you guys are rolling in there with Tom Brady either. You still got a rookie quarterback also, so it's not the easiest way to go win those games. But I think right now, I don't know who's the favorite in the AFC. I want to say for me it's the Colts. I think that they've been playing amazing with Jonathan Taylor. Wentz has been taking care of the ball a little bit better in that defense.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you watched the in-season Hard Knocks?
I have not yet. I have not
No,
yet.
I'm a bit. See, here's my problem, right? That I watch the Hard Knocks and I all of a sudden like the team more.
Yeah.
Like even though it was the Cowboys this offseason, I watched the offseason Hard Knocks and I was like, you know what? It was not so bad. I watched the Colts in season Hard Knocks. I was like, you know what? I'm rooting for you. But like I can't.
I
But
mean,
like I like Jonathan Taylor now. He's cool on the show. Darius Leonard. Why you
Jonathan Taylor, smart guy. He got into Harvard. He could have gone to Harvard.
I didn't know that.
He got into all the Ivy League schools, but chose to go play football. He's a smart guy. But yeah, I don't know who's really the favorite. What's up, Michael?
Michael, this doesn't even make sense. Josh isn't your co-host on anything.
We're co-hosts in life, man. That's
whatever, you know. Fine, that's okay.
But I think the favorites. I think it's the Colts or the Pats for me right now, and the Chiefs are on their way up there if they can keep playing better and better each week. But I think the Pats can be considered the favorite right now. They're on a 6-game win streak first in the AFC. They're leading all those categories and whatever. But I just think they're the most complete team right now and healthiest. I mean, you look at the injuries compared to the last year, it's perfect. Like they don't have those injuries right now. Matthew Judon's playing like the biggest, steal of the offseason. Yeah, no, he stays up there forever, bro.
11 and a half sacks for Judon, most in his career.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the top 2 sack leaders. They're both defenders. I think they're both best pickups. Hassan Reddick for us, and then I think, yeah.
I can't wait to get to the Bucs-Colts game because I never wavered off the Pennsylvania. Listen, it was Pennsylvania, now Wentz-Annapolis. The Wentz VP never wavered. Never, not once.
Yeah, but I think right now I'm going to call I think it's probably going to change next week depending on the Pats play, depending on the Colts play. But right now I'm going to go with the Pats as a favorite just due to how healthy they are and how they're playing complete football right now.
Yeah, listen, I know I just kind of crapped over the Pats for, beating some bad teams, but I'm still picking them as a favorite. And you want to know why, too? Because Mac Jones, let's check some boxes off. Why don't we, Josh, Does Mac Jones make mistakes? Does your quarterback make mistakes? No. Check one. Can't win with a quarterback making mistakes. Does your defense play well? Well, they're the number 1 defense recently. So check number 2. Can they run the ball in the later parts of the season where the weather is, 3 degrees and it's snowing? Well, yeah, they can move the trenches. Do they got a nice pass rusher? Can they get to the quarterback? Well, Matthew Judon's on the team. Do they have a good head coach? Well, Bill might be, actually not Mike, is the greatest coach of all time.
Here's the thing, though, about Mac Jones. I think it's almost too good to be true going from Nick Saban in Alabama to Bill Belichick.
Yeah, it's not fair, He's the trust fund kid.
Like Nick Saban is the Bill Belichick of college football. Like they have a great defense too. It's a well-run program. All you have to do is take care of the ball and be where you need to be. Same thing in New England. You have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Just don't turn the ball over, and your defense will give you a chance to win every game. I mean, he's wound up in a perfect situation, but I still hate it because the idea of another 20-year Patriots dynasty makes me want to throw up. So I hope it doesn't work out like that.
Josh, I said in the group chat today, but could you listen? So first of all, the highest rated Super Bowl of all time right now was 114 million. It was the Patriot Seahawks Super Bowl. Could you imagine the ratings that the Super Bowl would get if you could get a Bucs Patriots Super Bowl?
That would be insane.
I would say minimum I'm going 150.
Yeah, that'd be insane. Imagine those ticket
Super
prices,
Bowl?
bro. Like the resale ticket prices on those.
Bro, Brady's return to Foxborough to sit in the nosebleeds was like $1,500.
That's insane, man. Speaking of resale, man, quit buying all these Spider-Man No Way Home tickets and then trying to resell them for thousands, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, see, bro, here's my thing. I'm good. Listen, I want to see the movie. I really do. I'll stay off Twitter to avoid spoilers, everything. But if you think I'm out here buying No Way Home tickets for however much money, you're out of your mind. CJ, my brother, what is
Yeah.
going on there?
Luckily, I live in a very small town, so
That's what
the
I'm saying.
theater is very open.
Yeah,
Never had to worry
like,
about them
listen.
selling out. But seeing other people have to sit there and see that their theater is sold out, I'm like, man, that's tough. That is tough.
Yeah, I don't think my theater could sell out if Jesus was reincarnated there.
Yeah.
So we're all right. Speaking of reincarnation, well, he got reincarnated all right. How do we go? How about we go to your Panthers and the Dolphins? So, Josh, why don't you start it off here? Because, well, I'm having a great time.
Yeah. When the game started, it didn't start. Well, it actually started really, really good for us. I love going. It's only for the big time movies. I went there for Endgame, and I went there for Star Wars Episode 9. So only for the big movies can you go to the theaters. Other than that, I'll wait to get it online. But yeah, this game started out pretty decent. We get the strip sack on Tua, which made us still be the only team in the league to not allow a touchdown on the first drive. So we got something that, is still looking pretty cool for us. And then, Cam hits DJ deep for 64 yards. Then he runs it in. We're feeling really good. And then we get our punt blocked for a touchdown for them. Then we punt, and then they score again. And after that, it's like we acted like we were down 14 points with 6 minutes to go. We just threw out the entire damn game plan. We're like, hey, we're going to send everyone deep and make Cam do the one thing he sucks at, which is throwing the ball any further than 10 yards. So it put us in a very bad spot. Listen, we're not getting into that again, okay? He sucks at throwing the ball deep. It's been his thing his entire career. But we abandoned the game plan. We gave Cam basically one option, which was check it down to your running back every play or throw it out of bounds. Our offensive line, we drafted Dennis Daly 2 years ago to be our star guard, and we drafted Brady Christensen this year, who protected Zach Wilson at BYU, to be our left tackle. Tell me why the hell Christensen's playing left guard and Dennis Daly's playing left tackle. Why are they switched positions? Dennis Daly was getting blown up by guys I've never even heard of. Like, it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And then this supposedly genius offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, 3rd and 2, we hand it off to a running back. He runs a speed option with Christian McCaffrey. We got Chuba Hubbard and Christian McCaffrey running a speed option on 3rd down in the second quarter. Like, what the hell are we doing? Like an on-the-fly option. And then luckily we get a fake punt after that, so we get the ball back, but then we turned it over, so it didn't even matter. I'm done with this team, man. It's so annoying. After we got down, we just threw out the whole game plan. And apparently we traded for Stephon Gilmore, former Defensive Player of the Year, for nothing because we're sticking Dante Jackson on the best receivers everywhere. Jalen Waddle and Tua cooked us like they were Brady and Randy Moss. I mean, I couldn't tell the difference on Sunday. So it was an awful game. Now Christian McCaffrey's out for the rest of the year. Big surprise. Who cares? He played fucking 9 games in 3 seasons, so it doesn't even matter. Matt Rule, he's got to turn it around quickly. You waste all this money in the offseason. You trade away everything. We have 1 pick in the first 3 rounds because we wanted Sam Darnold and CJ Henderson, which sounds great. So now we get 1 first-round pick, 1 shot at either an offensive lineman or hopefully a quarterback. Because, I mean, PJ looked like dog shit too when he came in, so the season's basically a scrap. But, yeah, I'm done with this staff. I'm done with because it's not the players anymore.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
I think you can agree. Our roster is pretty solid. Like, outside of the offensive line and quarterback position, we have a pretty solid roster.
Yeah, I have no idea why DJ Moore is useless now.
I mean, we're just throwing him at slants, trying to get him murdered every play. And then we're just sending Robbie Anderson just to the sideline when that's not what he does. He's more of an inside player. I don't know what we're doing offensively. I mean, the whole team. You saw Brian Burns on the sideline yesterday. Was fed up with it because we're not even able to stop Myles Gaskin. I mean, we've had a great defense all year, and now we're just not even able to stop him. But, yeah, this staff's got to get it figured out because, I mean, David Tepper does not play around, but he's got billions of dollars, and he's ready to spend all of it if it means we can win. So I'm excited about that, but this staff they look awful. It's bad coaching. I mean, all the penalties we're getting. Having your starting left tackle that you just drafted in the 3rd round to be your franchise left tackle, putting him at left guard makes no sense to me. I mean, it's stupid. But now we got a bye week, and then we got Atlanta, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. So, it's maybe 1 in something. I don't know. We got the Bills in there too. Actually, we got the Bills at some point in there too. So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, Cam played like dog shit, but so did the rest of the team. He played really bad. Yeah, I don't know. The only good thing we have right now is Zane Gonzalez. He's kicking field goals pretty well. I'm impressed by that. So that's about it, man.
For the brand, of course.
Yeah, for the brand. But shout out to Tua and Jalen Waddle. They were cooking. Jalen Waddle's good, bro. He is fast, very fast.
Got some questions here to catch up on. I'll get into my thoughts on this game. But you know what, Sage? You say it's a strange question, but I like this question. A long one, as you can see. You can't even see Josh anymore. Might have to move up. Look at this. They're looking over the comments over here. Annual Army-Navy games coming up. You have family members that serve, so it's special for you. Curious if you guys watch it. If you do, any special memories from watching it? And do you think Army can reverse their fortune the past 2 decades to regain their upper hand in the series? Now, let me tell you something. I hate college sports. Hate it. But I usually do throw on the Army-Navy game, and I'm always an Army guy because West Point is like an 45 from the kid. So I've been to a few Army games. Been to a few Army football games too. I actually went to an Army hockey game one time when I was really little. Because I remember, and the only reason I remember is because they gave out little hockey sticks. It's like this big and it says Army on it. So I still got that. So listen, I don't know if they can turn around the fortunes of the rivalry, but I do throw the game on. I've been to a few Army games, so I usually root for them. But hey, you know what? Whoever wins, they're both serving us. So I'm going to salute them no matter what. But it's definitely a fun game. I don't like college sports, but I do like the rivalry games. Like I couldn't watch the Ohio State-Michigan game. I tried throwing it on. I was at work. I probably would have watched that game if I was home. I usually watch the Alabama-Auburn thing just because I want to see what's going to happen there. But those rivalry games I do like to throw on, and the Army-Navy one is definitely one of them. And then, Air Force too, and throw them on whenever they play. But I remember a few years ago, it must have been 2 years ago now, Army versus Navy was pouring down snow, and both of them only run the ball, but it's a good time. I do enjoy that game. You ever watch it, Josh?
Oh yeah, anytime you can watch 2 teams that strictly run the triple option, you gotta watch it every single time. Like those, they're very fun games to watch. Definitely, I always try to watch them. Army's a good team too. So is Navy. It's not like these are just teams.
Weren't one of them ranked last year?
I think maybe. I don't remember.
I thought it was Army.
Might have been. They're really good this year too. They're fun to watch. Definitely, triple option's always fun.
Now we get Alec in here. Is that Matt Rule, the GM? Going back to your point of
David Gettleman is. I think he's probably the only thing that I like about the Panthers. Really.
Oh, Gettleman was the Giants GM.
No, I think he's our GM now. I think we.
No. Gettleman is the Giants GM.
And what's his name?
Gettleman was your old GM.
Similar to that.
That built your Super Bowl. And listen, the only reason I know
that's why I said Gettleman.
Yeah. The only reason I'm flexing that I know that is because I listen to a lot of the Michael K show, and they're always crapping on Gettleman for not being able to build a team in New York. So that's literally the only reason I know that. We got CJ over here feeling bad for you, brother. Damn. Matt, what's up as always? What happened to your boy Cam Newton?
Scott Fitter, that's who it is. We got Scott Fitter. He has a lot of balls, bro. We made 8 day 1 draft day trades. So he's not afraid to make moves. Traded for CJ, traded for Stephon. He's not afraid to make moves. But sometimes that's a very risky game to play. So I think it's on both him and Matt Rule and Tepper. Obviously they all 3 have their hand in everything we've done so far. But and it is what it is. And Cam, Matt Rule already said that he's a starter next week. Kind of pointless to bench him when we only have him on a 1-year deal. Might as well write it out to him or PJ, and PJ's dog shit too. So might as well at least
can't believe we're talking about the XFL legend like that. Crazy.
Yeah, he's a legend, but might as well play the guy that is going to sell tickets. So we'll see. But listen, Cam, he had an awful game, but he's got 6 touchdowns in his 3 games so far. He started off nice yesterday, just fell off very quickly. Got benched for it. He played bad. Players have bad games. Happens.
Oh, it happened. All right. What was the? I think
5 to 23. I think like 80 for like 64 yards. That's only one play too. He would have had like 12 yards if it wasn't for that one deep ball to DJ.
Let's see. We got it here at 5 for 21, 92 yards and 2 interceptions.
Second PJ came in, he fumbled the first snap and then threw a pick on the next one. So it was very bad. Very bad game from our quarterbacks.
A 6.7 QBR rating. Mm-hmm. See, like that's another one, Josh. You know, I don't even understand what QBR means.
It's just a number that says, "Hey, we think they're." And what's the total on it? Like 153. What kind of cap number is that? Like,
see, and then there's QBR, and then there's passer rating.
Yeah, like what's the difference? What's is it? Yeah,
is passer rating just for the passes they throw, and then quarterback rating is everything else involved? Yeah. And here's the other thing too, you know, because Skip is a big fan of QBR. I think I heard on the show today that Mac Jones during this only has like a 53 QBR. They're in a 6-game winning streak. How you got a 50 and 50 is average apparently? So how you got a 53 if you're on a 6-game winning streak? That doesn't make sense to me. So QBR is broken. All these advanced statistics don't care. Still don't care. Never did. But yeah, I think. Listen, it started off very strong for the Panthers. It's gone very, very downhill since then. We saw the offense, what happened to that after they lost McCaffrey for the first time, and now they lose him for the rest of the season. Obviously, that kills. And CJ had a beautiful point, in the group chat today. He said, listen, they should just draft a real running back and then use McCaffrey like Deebo Samuel. And I thought that was probably one of the smartest things I've ever heard in my life.
It'd be really cool if we were smart. That would be really fun.
Like, imagine the Panthers, right, with, like, Derrick Henry type running back, and then you throw in McCaffrey there for end arounds and pass catching abilities. But hey, listen, McCaffrey can still run the ball too. He's not no slouch.
Instead, we decided we should draft a running back who is basically exactly like Christian McCaffrey and Chuba Hubbard. That's what we did. We let Mike Davis walk, and then we were like, you know what? Let's just get someone exactly like McCaffrey.
Well, listen, by the way, that decision was not wrong. Mike Davis is terrible.
Well, he's terrible in Atlanta, but he's pretty good here.
Yeah, for like 3 games. Trust me, I had him on fantasy.
Just because he didn't get it in the goal line and we gave Curtis Samuel end arounds doesn't mean he was bad.
Bro.
You hated that. I used to make it up every week, bro.
Oh my God, that was the most frustrating thing I've ever experienced. It was like right down the field with Mike Davis. You know, let's get a touchdown to cap it all off. End around.
Curtis Samuel, touchdown.
Why? Like, what are you doing? Listen, Curtis Samuel has, I don't even, what does he play, like 2 games for Washington too?
Yeah, he was injured all starting the season. He's just starting to get back.
And then, you know, another question just for this game is can Tua be the franchise quarterback after all? And hey, listen, what are they on, like a
3 straight, 3 or 4?
3? It is 3.
I think 3.
3-game winning streak. Hey, listen, if you win games in the NFL, you can be a starting quarterback.
He's played really good. He played really good against us. And having a number 1 receiver like Waddle, because Will Fuller just robbed them for a lot of money. He doesn't even touch
I try telling people this every year. Every year. Will Fuller is going to get paid and immediately get a hamstring injury. He might get a hamstring injury walking in to sign the contract.
Yeah, he
never been a Will Fuller guy.
Jalen Waddle's really good. I really like him. I didn't really see anything from him.
Connection.
Yeah, I haven't watched a single Dolphins game all year, I don't think. This one I did, and I liked what I saw from Waddle. And, you know, Tua played really, really good. He was smart out there.
Well, we're going to find out. Obviously, a lot of the rumors were that they wanted Mr. Deshaun Watson, but if you keep winning, you kind of force their hand. Well, we go on from there to the Bucs and the Colts. Probably the game of the week, I want to say. Yeah. Crazy game, comes down to the last, you know, few minutes of it, and it was back and forth. There was at one point where I thought that, you know, the Colts were going to run away with it. They go for it on 4th and I think it was like 2, but there was only like 20 seconds left in the half. They were up by 3, and then they score the touchdown on 4th and goal. And I was like, wow, like you got some serious balls if you want to do that, because you don't get that. You're still up by 3. You could have been up by 6. Instead, that's a 10-point swing right there, because, I mean, you go from, you know, either not scoring or kicking the field goal, but you actually get the touchdown. So that's basically 10 points, almost, kind of. I never really understood how those 10-point swing this way or that way worked, but I'm going to go with 10 points because why not? So they go for it there. They make it 24-14, I want to say. And then they got fancy, man. They started passing the ball a lot in the second half. And Wentz played very well in this game. Like, he had the 2 interceptions. He got strip sacked. So he also had the 3 turnovers in the game. First of all, the last interception doesn't count. It's a Hail Mary.
Yeah,
those shouldn't even be counted as an actual interception. The strip sack, I mean, it's technically his fault, I guess, but I've always had trouble blaming a quarterback.
Well, he was trying to do a Wentz play there. He was trying to do a Wentz play, but the ball got out of his head. So it's not. I agree. Those are sometimes hard to blame on the quarterback, especially
like, bro, you got somebody 240 hitting you in the back and your arm. Listen, I'm not holding on to it either. So who am I?
Seem to be timed perfectly, like always on the back swing, and then they get hit like every single time.
You know, that's the thing too. That's why it's always annoyed me when defenders don't go for the quarterback arm. Like, you see them trying to get sacks and they go for the body. Why would you not go for the arm? I feel like
Robert Mathis talked about that on the Pat McAfee show. He's like, yeah, man, we started realizing we're getting all these strip sacks, but they don't count as a fumble and a sack. It's just 1 sack. And he's like, let's just go for the ball, bro. If that's all going to count as 1, like, and get back there, just hit that ball out. Like, just go.
Like, I feel like 7 times out of 10, if you hit the quarterback, it's a fumble. If you're hitting, well, I can't, bro. I was trying to word this without sounding dirty, but like, it's literally impossible. I literally just almost had a stroke trying to do it. So, you know, it's too bad. It's too bad. You know, if you're gonna hit the quarterback from the back, you know what I mean. It's gonna cause a fumble. So, I don't know why teams don't do it more often. But anyway, they try to get fancy. And this was, you know, strength on strength here because it was Jonathan Taylor. I believe he was going for his 9th straight game with the rushing touchdown and over 100 rushing yards, which would have been an NFL record because I think the actual one is like 8 right now. So he tied it. And they just stopped running the ball. And that's the thing. They got into the position of winning because they were running the ball. And it really wasn't working. I believe
setting things up, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Having that threat means more than actually producing it sometimes. And you could see it. I mean, the Bucs had like 7 people on the line. You're selling out to try and stop the run. And I think that's what you have to do against the Colts because, listen, I love Wentz. And I think that, you know, off play action and even, you know, standing in the pocket, he can still do things. You saw that, what was it, like a 60-something yard touchdown over the top. Like, he can make those kind of plays, but I feel like I'm much more comfortable with saying I want Wentz to beat me than Jonathan Taylor, especially because if Jonathan Taylor gets going, that means the game is over. Because running the ball, the clock just keeps ticking and ticking away. You're not on the field. Your defense is on the field longer. They're getting gassed. So by the time it's the end of the third, start of the fourth quarter, they're dead. Like, they're out there on oxygen tanks the entire second half if you can continuously run the ball. And they got away from it. And then you saw it on that last drive. They're down 7 points. And they only ran the ball. I think it was 8 rushes. Jonathan Taylor got 56 yards, which was more yards than he had in the entire game. Up to that point, they go down, score the touchdown. And then the Bucs come down. And, you know, you knew it was going to happen because I think there was like 2 minutes left on the clock. And I was like, all right, well, there goes that game. Brady leads them down. Leonard Fournette, man, I tried telling people, and we're going to get into that next. Leonard Fournette, he has 3 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown, but on that drive, you know, he runs the ball. They're in field goal range already. He runs it. You think, I thought he was going to slide down. I really did. I thought they were just going to go for the field goal. But hey, 20 seconds left. I mean, you might as well score the touchdown. Nothing's really going to happen, right? They score the touchdown, and then the kickoff, this man got loose.
Almost took it to the house.
Bro, I can't remember the guy who made the tackle. Well, I saw like one of those like overhead shots of like where it's just like the circles with their number in it. And he was on the total left of the field. like the complete opposite side, started out here, like ran up and then just immediately took an angle and took the perfect angle. Got like one hand on him on his shoulder pad because if he doesn't get, he's gone. If he doesn't, get his shoulder pad, he's gone. So they get to like the 35. The Colts try a play to the sideline, which I don't really understand. You listen to Greg Olson on that call. You're your boy. By the way, he's not a bad commentator. So a lot of these former players that become commentators, very, very good at their job.
Oh yeah.
So he he said, I don't know why you're trying to attack the sideline. They still had a timeout as well. So there's no need to, go to the sideline when you have a timeout, and that's where the defense is going to be playing anyway. And then they try their Hail Mary. They throw it up to Pittman, who's obviously their big playmaker over there on the wide, in the wide receiver room. And Wentz, first of all, didn't even get it to the end zone. And second of all, ends up getting picked. But like I said, that barely even counts. So a crazy game. I thought it was over. I really did. When they scored that touchdown at halftime, they were down 10. The Bucs were down 10. They're not a very good road team this year, believe it or not. And I thought it was. I really did think it was going to be over, but that strip sack changed everything. The Scotty Miller defensive pass interference that they got, and then the interception. Winfield mossed Pittman to get the interception, and they capitalized on all of them. The muffed punt as well. I think I think they scored 17 straight unanswered points, and they were all off turnovers. It was the strip sack, interception, and then the punt. So it was quite the game. It really was.
Yeah, like you said, all coaches, all they want to do to start the game is establish the run. Like that's your game plan coming into a game. If you can establish a run, you can run play action, you can open up things deep, get players out of position. And they had that. They weren't getting the normal Jonathan Taylor breaks it for 12 yards, 15 yards. They were getting like 2 to 3 yards a pop, but the Bucs were committing to it, and that's why they were able to open it up and get that deep shot. But then the second half, like it's okay to go a little bit more pass heavy once you got them, leading on the run when they're bringing up 7 guys. And even if they're bringing up 7 guys, it doesn't mean they're rushing them, but they're still out of position from normal. The safety's not, back in the field. So they set it up perfectly, but then they got pass happy. They got really comfortable with that 10-point lead going into half. And you could tell they just weren't so concerned about controlling the ball because they knew they had that 2-score lead. And then, like you said, things just started rolling the Bucs' way. You get that pass interference call, you get that muffed punt, strip sack. Things started going their way, and then they wind up winning that. It was just tough loss for Indy. I think they could have easily won that game if they just, stayed locked in that third quarter and beginning of the fourth, and they almost pulled off the comeback. That kick return was insane because they had no chance of driving down the field. Really, Michael Pittman had an awful day. It was butterfingers the entire first half, and then, getting mossed by Winfield did not help that too much. But, they almost get it done. And like you said, that last interception, it's just a shot at the end zone. There's not too much you can put on the quarterback there. But it was – I think it definitely is the game of the week. But, this is why it's so hesitant to say who's a favorite in these conferences because I want to say it's the Colts, but then they mess up and force themselves to lose games like this. I want to say the Pats, but then you look at their record, it's like – you won, but against 2. So I think the Colts are kind of having a similar situation. They've beaten some tough teams and they've lost to some tough teams in games they should have won. They should have beat the Ravens, should have beat the Bucs. So I got to start putting these games back together. But Wentz played really well.
Here's the other thing too. I feel like, and I think we're all kind of prisoners of this as well. You look at the Bucs and it's like, well, of course, they should be winning. Even without Gronk and AB, they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. There's a big difference between a talented team and like people you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because on paper, they're probably the most talented offense in the league, I would say. I don't think that's much of a stretch. Like, yeah, you got Mahomes and Kelsey and Hill, but they have Brady, Gronk, AB, Evans, Godwin. Like, these are all unbelievable. But you can just tell. I look at it yesterday. Who had the big game? It's not Mike Evans. It wasn't Godwin. This man Gronk all of a sudden turned it back in the day. A funny tweet. NFL tweeted vintage Gronk play, and Gronk quoted and said, "Wow, I'm vintage now." So I think Gronk had 8 catches, something like that, over
Tough
100
catches
yards.
too, like classic,
Yeah,
like literal vintage. Like throw it in the traffic and he's gonna run over the defender. Like
bro, the third down play, which was another big play in the game. I think they were down 10 at that point still. It's third down, and they throw it to Gronk before the first down marker. He plows over 2 people and ends up getting the first down. But that's the moral of the story. There's a big difference. Like, you look at it, Gronk and AB are the people that Brady's really comfortable with. Like, when they were struggling on offense, it was because Gronk and AB were out. And, like, yeah, they still have Mike Evans and Godwin, so, like, it doesn't really make sense. And, like, it still doesn't really make sense to me. But here's the thing. Brady's been playing with Gronk for 10 years.
mm-hmm.
He knows exactly where he's going to be at all times. He knows if he calls a curl route, then at 2 seconds into the play, Brady could throw that ball with his eyes closed. He knows where he's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is year 2 with Evans and Godwin. So, like, he's still kind of getting used to them and everything like that. But those are really the big people on the team. And then, the other question for this was, where did we rank Leonard Fournette? And I've always been higher on Leonard Fournette than, people. If you check our group chat, we got people out here saying that Tony Pollard and Alexander Madison are better than Leonard Fournette. Blasphemy to me, but, different story for a different day. Listen, do I think he's a top 5? Probably not even top 10 running back. I really don't.
I tried to figure out where I rank him, and I got him right around 10.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's like the 10 to 15 mark, and I think that's fair.
The guys I think he's just as good as Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery.
See, I think he's better than them.
Yeah, like I'm putting him. These are the people I have ahead of him: Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Zeke, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler, and Kareem Hunt. I took CMC out of it just because I don't think he really belongs, because we haven't seen that elite player in a while. But Kareem Hunt and Fournette, I think they're very close. I think I'd put Kareem over him, but I'm taking Fournette over Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery.
Oh yeah, so am I.
So Fournette would be 9 for me. Fournette would be around 9 for me.
I mean, hey, I didn't really make like a ranking, so I was kind of off the top of my head. And, I probably thought that there were. See, I was being generous too, because I know everybody. You took CMC out, which is probably smart. And then the other thing, everybody likes to put Saquon there. Saquon doesn't do anything.
If he was healthy all this time and we knew what he really was, but
no. I know what Saquon is.
I know what you think.
I can't stand people that think Saquon's some godly player. I can't do it.
He's not a godly player, but he's still a guy that I feel like we don't know yet. We don't know him yet. He's injured all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I know he's going to get injured, and then when he's on the field, he's going to have. Listen, yesterday is perfect example. Perfect example. He had 1 rush for 30 yards, I believe. He finished the day with like 50 something, and so that means he had 10 rushes that combined for like 20 yards.
But let's say
but the numbers look good at the end of the day.
But further down the road, let's say like he has like a few seasons in a row where he's not injured and he gets really comfortable out there, and he starts breaking plays like that. It could just, some guys just aren't comfortable in the league yet, in the system, like especially in the system. Well, you went from, because he played Eli's last year, right? That was his rookie year, right?
So
and now they're still
3 years, same system.
Daniel Jones and Eli do not run the same system. That is not the same system.
First of all, actually, I lied on same system anyway, because this is only the second year of Joe Judge.
Yeah, and Jason Garrett is gone now, so who knows what Freddie Kitchens
out here, baby.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree. Saquon has not had a great career so far, especially for the number 2 pick. But I'm not giving up on him yet.
You can't see, bro. Giants fans and even the Giants themselves are probably killing themselves for picking Saquon.
Oh, absolutely. It's a bad pick now, but a bad player, we don't know yet. Terrible pick. Terrible idea taking a running back that high anytime. Even when they work out, it's still so risky to take a running back.
Here's my thing, right? I think it's acceptable if – all right, so say say this is like 09, no, 08, right? When Brady tears his ACL or whatever it was. It's fine if you somehow get that draft pick and then pick Saquon, because that means like you just had a player out, so that was the reason that you were bad.
Mm-hmm.
But this is they drafted Saquon because they thought Eli had a year left, and that doesn't make sense. He was terrible already, so like I don't know why anybody was surprised.
Yeah. I mean, there's a long history of running backs who turned into busts. You look at Trent Richardson when the Browns took him that high. I mean, when Ricky Williams, the Saints trade an entire draft class for him. I mean, there's been a lot of
Walker out here getting traded for
the
entire Cowboys dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, but then there's some very good ones. Derrick Henry, great first round pick. I think so far we can all agree Najee Harris was a very nice pickup.
Yeah, but see, even Najee was in the 20s.
Right, that's what I'm saying. CMC is the only running back.
I think Walter Payton was the first overall pick.
CMC is the only player I can think of recently that has been there around Saquon's time, because he was like 8. We took him at 8. Who else is Zeke? Zeke has been decent.
I would say Zeke worked out.
Yeah, Zeke's been decent.
He worked out for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I mean he's good this year. He's playing well this year.
Yeah.
I like him.
He was the first couple weeks, and now it's kind of slowing down a little bit. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
But whatever. I guess we move on from there. Josh, you wrote right here the NFL refs needs to be stopped.
Someone needs to stop them.
I'm interested.
Did you see all the crazy numbers from Thanksgiving, man? All this.
Yeah, what was it? Like 200?
28 flags, 14
okay,
for
see,
each
here's
team.
my problem. If it's a flag, you got to throw the flag.
Right, but I'm talking more of sometimes let it slide, bro. Sometimes let it slide.
See, I'll tell you what I have a problem with. I said it yesterday. I cannot stand roughing the passer calls anymore. I can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes be like, hey, that hit didn't hurt that bad.
That's what I'm saying. In the Packer game yesterday, this man Rodgers hit in the head. Bro, he shoved him slightly.
Yeah.
He probably messed up his man bun. That's the most that happened to Aaron Rodgers on that play. And that's a flag? Really?
Yeah, and I mean, we don't even got to talk about the taunting, but
listen.
That one's absolute horse shit. Brian Burns got one yesterday. He didn't even do anything.
That's why you tweeted that, huh? I saw you tweet get rid of taunting, but I didn't know why.
Yeah, Brian Burns got one that killed a huge big time play, gave him a first down, and they scored. So it was these refs they need to get these crews right too. There needs to be certain crews for certain games. Obviously, the ones you had for prime time on Thanksgiving, don't ever let them fucking do a top game ever again. Not that group. No, just done with it. And apparently, he was like the jacked referee that everybody. Hockey. His son.
Jacked, by the way.
No home teams have won when he's reffing. No home teams.
Really?
No home teams. It's insane.
See, listen, I can't talk about Mr. Hockley because, first of all, his dad would kill me, and the current Hockley that's coaching or reffing, also jacked, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I would never get in a fight with them because you got to be a weird guy in general to become an NFL referee. But then you add them they're jacked.
You don't. I don't know how weird you have to be because they be making about $350.
They make bank, but to want to do that, you got to be a madman to want to. Do you know how much people hate? No one likes you. Nobody likes you.
Guess what? Man. Oh, you know what, Josh? I hate to tell you, for $350, I'd punch you right in the throat.
But dude, if they figure out, if you're a popular guy, people like Ed Hockley just because, I don't know why he's jacked and they were that's cool, we like him. But other refs, like NBA refs, those guys too, nobody likes you, man. Your job is nobody likes you, and you have to make tough calls that people hate you for forever. Every night, every weekend, you got to go get yelled at. Listen, and you got to run with these crazy athletes. So, I mean,
here's my problem. Here's my problem. I'm greedy, so you can't really ask me a money question because there's nothing in the world.
Right? Yeah. You're taking the bag for it.
I'll take it. Listen, you throw me the right amount of money, I'm there. Just listen. People out here talking about, would you do this for $1 billion? What kind of dumbass question is that?
$1 billion
With a B, bro? I'll
yeah.
wipe my face off the internet for a billion. So it don't matter. You won't even know who I am after I do whatever I have to do.
Yeah. But I mean, these refs, man, we just got to get it figured out. It's getting kind of to the level of awfulness of the replacement refs. Like, it's getting to that.
We can't get there. No,
we really
no.
are.
But see, here's the thing.
Like, game altering penalties that don't need to be called,
bro.
Like
the replacement refs let the wrong team win a game.
That's what I'm. And the current refs are allowed to do that, and it's legal. Like, it's okay. They're altering games with these flags. It's not as bad as, Golden Tate not catching the ball, but the refs say he caught it.
The Fail Mary.
Yeah, it's not as bad as that, but I think we're getting to a level of like, okay, we need to address this. Like, we're getting to that point.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, it's been a lot. I mean, are you kidding me? Every week, some dumb shit, man. Like, when
here's the problem too.
Here's the problem.
Here's the problem. Are the refs bad, or are they doing what they're told by the NFL? And that's the problem too, because the NFL has come out and said we want an emphasis on roughing the passer and holding and taunting. So if you're an NFL ref, you're like, well, shit. You put an emphasis on it. I have to call this now because guess what? If I don't call it, that means I'm not getting paid because they'll probably get rid of me or they won't put me on for a playoff game. And if you get playoff games, that's when you really start making some money as well. So if I'm an NFL referee, I'm like, listen, you guys can hate me all you want. If you don't talk to me after the game, you better go straight up to Mr. Roger Goodell and say, listen, we need to change this because I'm doing my job.
But we can't blame the NFL because if they know that, they definitely won't change it because they'll think they're right. But if we blame the refs, then they're not taking the blame. They're like, we're smart. Now we're going to win them back by making the rules good. So we have to call out the refs. We have to be like, it's their fault. The NFL's not doing it. It's these guys. And then they'll be like, well, now we're going to make them look good. NBA's working right now. NBA is fun to watch. There are not a lot of foul calls. There's a lot of contact.
Trust me. James Harden knows.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, man. And also, I think it's crazy what they find guys sometimes. I think the amount you get fined should definitely, have something to do with, if you're Cassius Marsh and you just got a $10,000 game check because you're on a practice squad and they fine you $5,000 because you got body checked by a ref. That's not fair. Finding Isaiah Stewart $950,000 when he's on his rookie deal. He got fined $950,000 for that.
Did he really?
$950,000, and he's on his rookie deal, and he was not a top pick. Like, so that's
I did not know that. I didn't know he got fined $950.
$950, man. Insane.
I think the more it should be a percentage of whatever your game check is.
Yeah.
Because like LeBron, bro, LeBron got fined. LeBron got fined $15,000.
Yeah.
LeBron made $15,000 while he was signing the check.
Yeah.
And
then Isaiah Stewart, man, he's on a rookie deal. He doesn't have all these sponsors, and you're finding him $1 million, bro.
Well, listen, you better get some sponsors now. The what are those little robots called? The Rock and Sock and robots. Hey, put a little Isaiah Stewart on there. Just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying. Josh, what team needs to draft a quarterback?
I think I don't think there's many like.
That's the thing. Isn't it weird? Isn't it kind of weird that there's not as many?
It's because not only is there not this clear, hey, this quarterback coming out this year, you cannot pass on him. Like, if you have the number one pick, you have to take him. It's been Trevor Lawrence, it was Joe Burrow. There's been a few years in a row where it's been like that. It's not like that this year. And basically every team has an okay option at quarterback, or they don't need a quarterback at all.
Yeah.
The teams that I have, obviously us, Carolina. I think we are the team where it's like you got.
I think you're the one. I honestly think you're the one team that I point to that needs one. Everybody else I'm okay with, and then there's the obvious ones that don't.
Yeah, so I think we're the one that needs one. But teams like Detroit, there's a chance they stick with Goff, but there's a chance they go get somebody. Houston, there's a chance they, wait on, see what Deshaun does, wait and see.
I still think Deshaun's out of there. Deshaun's out of there once the whole situation.
But then Tyrod's still a good filler if they don't trust him. So they don't need to draft someone. The Giants, I don't think they're in love with Danny Dimes, but they don't need a quarterback because he's still young. But I do think they'd be interested in one because he's not that good. And then Pittsburgh. Is
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Ben gone? Is he
No,
not?
Pittsburgh is another one that needs a quarterback.
But
If
then
he
they
doesn't
love Mason Rudolph. They gave that man an extension after playing terrible for his rookie deal. So they like him. And they have Haskins. So do they really go after one?
No, but they don't like Haskins.
But then you look at the prospects this year. It's Matt Corral, it's Malik Willis, and Sam Howell. 3 guys that aren't – I'm not going to trade up for that guy. I'm not going to use a number 1 pick on that guy. But he's
Josh,
available when I'm up.
You
Maybe.
say that.
Maybe.
You say that. But you know somebody's going to have a good combine and a pro day.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be Matt Corral. It's going to be Matt Corral. I mean, he's probably going to win the Heisman.
Immediately, it's going to be some team trading up into a top 5 pick to get him. You know it's going to happen. It happens every year.
If he wins the Heisman, I don't even know who's really going to win the Heisman this year. There's a lot of candidates, and none of them are really like clear front runners. But if a quarterback is able to win it like Matt Corral, their draft stock goes super high. I mean, I
didn't even know who Zach Wilson was last year until the
Really?
pro day and everything happened.
BYU made me lots of money last year.
Yeah.
They were a fun team to bet on.
Bro, I didn't know who he was. All of a sudden, pro day and the combine comes, and all I'm hearing is the Jets got to take him with the second overall pick.
Even when I was watching him,
what happened?
Even when I was watching him, I was like, "Oh, this kid's decent." And then, like when we started getting into draft season, they have him going top 5. I'm like, "You guys really thought he was like that good?" So it really just depends. I mean, college football is so weird how some players get ranked above
I will
others.
bet all of my money that there's a quarterback picked in the top 5.
I think there could, because Detroit and Houston and us are probably going to be top 10 picks. Like I think I want us to lose out.
You know
I don't want to win a game. I don't want to win another
I wonder
game.
what the current NFL draft order is.
Because if we're going to draft a quarterback, I need it to be one of those 3. Because there's just not a lot of options after that. And I love Malik Willis and Sam Howell. Sam Howell I've been on for a few years.
Here we go. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
So currently, wow, this is just unbelievable. So it's the Lions, Texans, the Jags, the Jets again because of the Seattle pick. God, that is going to go down as the worst trade in NFL history. It really is. It's going to go down as. Then the Giants again because of the Chicago trade.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Then Washington, then the Eagles. Then the Eagles again because of the Miami trade. Then your boys. And then the Falcons, Saints, Eagles again from the Indy trade. Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
What was the Miami trade for Philly? Who got traded?
Miami traded up.
Oh, okay. All right. I was trying to think of a player that got sent for picks.
No, I think Miami just traded up. I believe.
I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. I know there's a defensive lineman that's for sure going number 1. I think his name's like Babineau or something like that.
I thought it was like Thibodeau.
Thibodeau, that's what it is. I knew it was like the X in the makes the O sound. So there's only 2 names I know by that. So, but yeah, I think there's a couple of the ends that are going to go high. Offensive linemen are going to go high. Lots of good fast receivers this year. There's a guy at Penn State, insanely good, very good receiver. So I don't think quarterbacks are even like the top 3 position, like heavy groups. So I mean, but you could see the Giants have 2 picks in the first round. They could easily be like, "Hey, let's take a chance on one of these guys. We got 2 picks."
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just hope we draft one, man. Like I'm done with this season. I'm full in on this off season. Like let's go make something. You trade away all the picks. Let's just get this one right. Just get this one right.
Well, we are going to find out what happens. We really, really will. So we go into our quarterback of the week. Josh, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going with Tua just because it was one of the only games I really watched, so I really got to see him. But, yeah. Ooh, I saw that they were going after him. Is he gone? Is he leaving Notre Dame now? Crazy.
Apparently, if Matt's reporting it, I got to believe it.
I heard the report that they were going to go after him, but that's bad for Notre Dame. But yeah, I'm going Tua, 27-31, 230 yards and a touchdown. Played great against us, man. Played really, really good.
Listen, Matt's in here, so I can make him happy. Aaron Rodgers. I'm going with Mr. A.A. Ron. Played a solid game. I know, I actually made a list this time of like the things that I actually had to say because usually I just, go off the dome and I never get anything right, but I forgot to write down their actual stats. So I still don't actually know, but I'm going to find them right now here for you. Ready? Mr. A.A. Ron, 28 of 45, 307, 2 passing touchdowns, rushed one in, even on the bad toe.
Very good week.
So who's your non-quarterback of the week, Josh?
Patrick Surtain, cornerback for the
look
for
at
the
you
Broncos.
going defense again.
5 tackles, 2 crucial picks, 1 huge touchdown. He's been so good this year for the Broncos. That was a risky pick. Taking cornerbacks are kind of like running backs in the draft. You don't really know because it's really all scheme designed. Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys that have been like have to get him, and Patrick Surtain seems to be that guy because he played really, really well. Picked off Herbert twice in the 4th. Player of the week.
I got Mr. 4x4, Leonard Fournette, as Gronk liked to call him. Gronk is such an idiot.
He's so goofy, bro.
He's such an
idiot. Do you
ever
watch the YouTube videos of him and Tom?
Yes, him and
Those
Tom.
Those are the best, bro.
Bro, ever since they left New England, man, they got out here making YouTube
Only
videos.
reason I want them to go to the Super Bowl so we can get another one of those videos after the championship game of where they're walking on the bus. One. No, I mean that's what I'm saying.
Oh, but yeah, he does one with Gronk. Yeah,
the one with Gronk is the best. Those are
that one after the Patriot one. It was still the best one ever created.
They did it last year too, so that's the only reason I like them going.
Hit him with the.
Yeah,
I said okay.
Yeah,
but yeah, Lenny, 17 carries, 100 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns, had a receiving touchdown as well. I believe he had 7 catches for about 31 yards, 131 total scrimmage yards. So hey.
He hit all of his overs. He hit every single over you could have.
Yeah. Leonard Fournette is definitely that dude. People got to stop sleeping on my boy. But next up we go to, is it our winners and losers? No. It is our respect. Hold on. Let me get this banner up real quick. Because you know what? It's not the same without the banner. And first we do Together We Pray. Do you got anybody, Josh? Who we praying for this week?
I don't have anyone new this week, but yeah, I just feel like Pittsburgh fans probably need a little prayer after this week. It's tough sledding for them, man. Tough.
It's getting tough.
Might be Mike Tomlin's first losing season, man.
Listen, Big Ben needs that old Yeller treatment. You know what I mean? Behind the barn, just
jeez, Scotty, jeez.
Listen, I'm sorry.
You can't play. You're not doing anything else. That's it for you, man.
Listen, I'm just saying. Somebody had to say it.
Yeah, because everyone was thinking that, obviously.
Listen, I don't actually mean they're going to go out and
you said it though. The old Yeller treatment is only about one thing.
Okay. They need to old Yeller his NFL career. How about that?
That's better. But him himself is that's
listen, Ben's not the best guy anyway. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, he's got some allegations.
He does. He does.
Put some respect on my name, Josh. You got anybody for this one?
Yeah, when we talk about the 49ers, it's usually Deebo Samuel who gets all the love for all their plays. But Elijah Mitchell, 6th-round pick, has been balling this year. He's got like 500 or 600-yard games now. This week, he had 27 carries, 133 yards, and a touchdown. Deebo's getting those red zone touchdowns and making big plays, but Elijah Mitchell's
he's out for a week, out 1 to 2 weeks. I saw.
And they're playing really good right now too. That's a bummer. They're in the playoff race, but Elijah Mitchell's been a workhorse for them, and 6th-round pick. Put some respect on his name, man. They got some running backs back there because they drafted a couple. They drafted like 3 running backs this year.
That's what they like to do.
Like Trey Sermon too. Still got most.
Well, here's my thing. I don't know. He might already be in the list. He might be. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But you don't think about him in the Raiders offense. But Mr. Hunter Renfrow, man, just goes out there and produces. He's been the best. Bro, he's been the best player not named Derek Carr this year. He's been better than Waller this year. He really has been. I almost said Christmas, Jesus. Thanksgiving out there, over 120 yards, I want to say, 7 catches, had himself a game. So I'm putting some respect on Mr. Hunter Renfrow. So now, Josh, we move to our winners and our losers. But before we do that, I guess we should pick the Monday Night Football game. Who are you going with?
Washington for sure, bro. Washington.
You know what? They said that Russ is throwing the ball the
Who
best
did
he
all
has.
the game guys pick though? Actually, because I'll go against whoever they all picked.
I think they split it down the middle.
Damn, so there's no real favorite here. Yeah, I'm going with Washington.
I'll go with Seattle. I think the 7-win streak starts now, baby.
Russ
At
is
least
back.
that's what DK said. So we'll find out. But who are your winners, Josh?
Yeah, this is not really like a huge winner, but just Zach Wilson. I think, getting a win.
You know what? The whole state of New York, Josh, let's be honest. Both of our teams won. The Mets signed Max Scherzer today. Not that that matters to you.
How much money? Probably like $400 million, right?
Bro, you ready for this? 3 years, right? Oh, damn, I forgot the actual number, but he's making $43.5 million a year.
Jesus, man.
And he's a pitcher.
Yes. So he plays like
he plays once every 5 days.
Like
and he'll be out there for about six innings on a good night.
So I hate that. I don't like that.
I'm telling you, bro, my kids are playing baseball.
Yeah, get them in, bro.
40. I'm praying for a left-handed boy. That's what I need. A left-hander who can throw a 98 mile an hour fastball, and I'm set for life. I'm telling you right now.
But yeah, Zach Wilson, he threw that weird interception. I mean, that was stupid decision by him. But, he got the win. He came back in the second half, got the win. Pats fans, congrats. You got to go from one dynasty a year off to a whole another possible dynasty. And I'm going to keep calling it a dynasty so I can maybe jinx it. So, yeah, huge dynasty income.
Yeah, I think they tried that for 22 years.
And Tua, I'm giving him a winner too because there was a Watson rumors. There was this Tua the guy. I think these past few games he's really shown that he can be that guy. He's starting to look comfortable because I think a lot of people forget, those draft picks from a year ago. Well, a year ago when the pandemic year, they didn't really get a rookie offseason, a rookie training camp. They just kind of had to go in there. Now he's starting to get comfortable back there. And USC. Lincoln Riley is going to finally have it to where, not every single 5-star kid from California is going to Alabama and Oklahoma and Ohio. People might actually want to play there because they have a good coach. So, yeah, USC.
Well, Josh, the first winner, I even wrote it down here, is me. It's me for the simple fact everything went right for me yesterday. And you even said it. You even said it. Cam, terrible. 2 interceptions. Man had what'd you say, Matt? 6.7 QBR. Terrible. Benched. Puh. Disgusting. Lamar, terrible. 4 interceptions.
He won.
Terrible. 4 interceptions. I don't care. 4 interceptions. He sucked.
He won.
Winston-Annapolis over there played beautiful football. And Brady played well. And the Pats won. I mean,
it was a perfect Sunday, man. It was a perfect Sunday.
It was just unbelievable. I got to hate on the people I don't like. I got to you know what? Even if you want to throw it back to Thursday, Cowboys out here choking on Thanksgiving. Josh didn't even ask, how was your Thanksgiving, bud?
It sucked. My sister and her nephews were sick, so we didn't do anything. It was a bummer.
The worst.
Yeah.
Also, the Jets. They've won more games this year already than they have last year. So the Jets, you are winners. And then finally the 49ers, man. I think they're back. They finally got back to running the football, letting Jimmy G, be his little game manager self. So they've reestablished the identity. Josh, I'm going to keep going with the losers part of the week. I got the Eagles. Listen, we were out here riding high on.
After I raved about Jalen Hurts.
So did I. You lose to the Giants, and not only did you lose, that was a performance that hurts to watch. You see what I did there? Hurts played terrible football. It was just not a good time for him. Oh my God, was that Bobby Wagner that just destroyed Gibson?
That's good. I need JD McKissick yards.
That it
J.D.
was.
McKissick.
Bobby Wagner just absolutely edge speared him. It's fantastic play. Big Ben, I even wrote it here. If you don't get your old ass off the field, bro, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to start making some phone calls. I mean, it's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Titans. I think we stuck the sword right in the heart, Josh. No, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, he got to throw the ball now. Well, this is your season's over.
This is his worst nightmare. This
It
exact
is.
situation.
He's
The
like, what do
team
you
is
mean I
good,
can't?
number one seed, but now it's up to you and your arm to get us to the end. And he's like,
He turned around and he said, "What do you mean I don't got Derrick Henry?"
yeah.
He said, "What are you talking about? That's why he came
Adrian
here."
Peterson back there? What happened?
He said, "Who the hell is Jamel Dean?" But yeah, I got the Titans as my last loser. Who you got, Josh?
This one has a question mark by it. Rams? Are they losing?
Hey,
They're kind of losers right now. Yeah, they're kind of losers right now.
Yeah, well, I thought OBJ was supposed to be the savior. That's crazy.
I also have the Titans. Yeah, they're just big losers right now. Big losers. Panthers fans, we just suck and we don't know when it'll end because we should be at least decent and we're not that anymore. And then last night's over betters on the Ravens Browns game because that's a game, after that crazy Monday night game last year to go to this. I mean, I bet that second quarter for people betting the over. It's like, all right, there's still a lot of time in the second quarter. Pick, fumble, pick, fumble.
Bro, that was the most. That was the weirdest sequence I've ever seen in my life.
That had to be torture. Yeah, those are my losers. Sorry for you Sunday night over betters. I almost bet it, but I was like, nah, something's off.
Josh, how did we do in our week 12 picks? I want to say it was 12.
It is week 12. For the first time, I think since week 2, I went below 500.
Oh,
I've been at 500 or above since week 2, and I went 6-8 this week. It was a tough week. It was tough, and you went 8-6, so it wasn't the worst week. But yeah, you cut the 4-game lead into half, so now I am 95-72-1. You're 93-74-1. So 2-game lead. I feel like this has happened probably about 4 times this year. I ain't worried about it.
Now you're not worried?
Okay. I don't even got to pick the Panthers this week. We're on a bye. I don't even got to take that L.
Oh, unbelievable.
I'm catching a break.
What games did we disagree on? I know I got the Bill one.
Yep, you got the Bills. I took Philly.
So I got the Giants.
I took Jacksonville against Atlanta, which was one of those games where it's like, I guess I'll lose.
Wait, so didn't I get 3 games?
It's 3. We do this every time. It's 3-1. So you won 3, but then you lost 1 and I won 1. So that takes away one of your wins. So it's a 2-game difference.
Every time.
I expect it every time because I see your face.
But don't you see what I get? Don't you see?
I do when I'm adding it. I do when I'm adding up. I'm like when I was adding it up, I was like, damn, I'm only up by 1. But then I wrote it all down. I was like, oh no, I'm still up 2. So that's decent.
I want to recount.
Hey man, you can go do it if you want.
I'm good.
If I was cheating, bro, it would not be close, and I would not have lost by about 35 last year. So
yeah, last year, at least this year's competitive.
Yeah, at least it's a race.
I mean, last year I was up at this point in the season. I was up 30 games.
I was taking Atlanta over like Tampa at this time of year,
bro. But here's the weird thing: we both suck though, because do you ever look back on last year and there were weeks where we would go 11-3.
Yeah.
And now we're constantly 8-6.
We're 2 games above 500 every week.
Jesus, it's a tough life out here. But you know what? We're going to add to the struggle, Josh, because we're going to get into our week 13 picks here. And we started off with Thursday night football. We got the Cowboys at the Saints. Josh, who you got?
Yeah, apparently Taysom Hill, first team reps.
Ooh.
So he could be the quarterback, but I am still going with Dallas. Dan Quinn's going to have that team looking right.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. Listen, honestly, might be even better. There might be some actual clock management this game.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the Cowboys as well. We move on to the Bucks at the Falcons. I think this is both pretty simple for us. I assume we're both going with the Bucks here, Josh.
Yep.
The next one is also a pretty simple game in my opinion. Cardinals at the Bears. I believe Kyler Murray is finally back, so I assume we're both going with the Cards.
Yep, Andy Dalton's regained control of this team. He's a
You're not
quarterback.
wrong. Now we get into one that can be challenging, I think. We got the Chargers at the Bengals. Josh, give me your thoughts.
This is a tricky one because these are two teams where it's like more often than not, I'm going to pick them to win every week, but they've dropped each a couple games where it's like, why are you dropping that? And now they play each other. This gives me Chargers, Vikings vibes. I'm going to go with the Bengals, so I'm going to go with the Bengals.
I have to make up ground, but I don't want to make up ground in games that I just, have to pick against you. So I'm going with the Bengals too because the Chargers are just weird.
Yeah,
they play great, and then all of a sudden they get beat by like 65, and I'm confused if they're good or not. And I think they're still the 7th seed in the playoffs though. So, but I'll go with the Bengals, especially because the game is at home. Next up, the Vikings and the Lions. I think this is pretty easy as well. I believe we're both going with the Vikings, I assume.
Yep.
Now, this next one could be a little something. Giants at the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Giants.
Oh, okay. Give me the Dolphins. Yeah, give me the Dolphins.
Okay. I don't know. Do I feel confident in that? No.
But that's one of those games where you're like,
that's possible. It's possible, so I might as well. Eagles at the Jets. Listen, we thought that the Eagles and the Giants one was going to be simple, but you never know.
You picking first or me?
I think I'm going to go with the Eagles. I know it's in New York, but I guess I'll go with the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles too. I'm not taking a shot on the Jets.
Colts at the Texans. Well, there's some terrible games this week.
Oh, yeah.
And the worst part is I'm going to sit my stupid self in front of my computer and watch every single one for 7 hours. 7 straight hours I'm going to watch football. Colts pretty easily, right?
Yep.
Washington at LA.
Las Vegas. Come on now.
Oh, yeah, LV, not LA. You know what? I feel like this is such a trap game. I really do. Or I feel like this is, Raiders just beat the Cowboys. We're back, and then they're going to lose to Washington. But I got to go with them. I just can't pick the Washington. I can't.
We've only disagreed on one so far. Looking at the rest of the games, give me the Raiders too.
We got the Jags at the Rams. We're going with the Rams. Not even worth talking about. Ravens at the Steelers. These divisional games, always close. You never know what's going to happen. I know I just said Big Ben's old yeller, but you never know what's going to happen. Josh, who you got here?
Nah, give me Baltimore.
Yeah, me too. 49ers at the Seahawks. Listen, they got to go. Seahawks have to go on a little bit of a streak here. 49ers have gotten their identity back, though. This is a close one. Josh?
I'm going San Fran. Leave it up to you. You believe in that streak or?
Oh, man. What worst that could happen? I go down, 4 games again. I was just there anyway. So, yeah, give me the Seahawks. Why not? And then the Broncos at the Chiefs. Yeah, I got the Chiefs.
Yeah, man, I'm going to go with the Chiefs, but the Broncos are the most, confusing
random team ever.
Confusing team in the league. They beat the shit out of some teams they should be losing to, and then they lose to really bad
that's how
teams.
I feel about the Chargers.
Yeah.
I really want to change that Charger pick to the...
Do it. Give you a chance to take the lead if you sweep.
I know, but I don't think I will. I wish you would have picked... I wish you picked Washington. I was hoping you would.
I couldn't, though, because then a chance of you taking the lead, if that's the disagreement game, Like if that's it, the deciding factor.
Like there is going to be some stupid win next week that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It always has every week.
Yeah.
So why can't it beat the Chargers,
But it's usually not those ones, It's usually not those games that are going to be.
Watch. The Steelers are going to beat the Ravens. You already
Houston's
know that's
put up 35 this week.
Everything makes a lot of sense.
Houston's putting up 35 on the Colts' head this week, and Jonathan Taylor gets shut down. Like that could happen.
The Falcons are probably going to put up 45 against the Bucs, and
I mean, too many factors. You
I'll
want the
I'll change it. Yeah, give me the Chargers. I'll change it.
All right. So you need
I'm
the
a
Giants,
big Charger, Giant, and Seahawk fan next week.
Yep.
Huge. Never met a bigger fan than me.
Hey, 3 games, chance to sweep, tie it, or go down to 5. You never know.
I know. I got at least.
If you go down to 5, like if I sweep this week, you got to start taking some shots. Like you got to start.
Yeah, I will.
Did we make a bet on the record this year? Or did we not? We didn't.
We didn't last year either.
I couldn't remember if we made a bet or not. Like someone does something or.
No, we did not. But listen, that'll end the show there, folks. So I appreciate everybody tuning on in over on the YouTube side, the Twitch side, the Facebook side, everything of that nature. Josh, where can they find you?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Jolin_4. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like Connie says at the top of every show, that's where we can see your comments. So make sure you go subscribe over there. Turn on notifications so you know when we're live. Head on over to Underdog. Double your first deposit up to $100. Code Gen Z. And tune in next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
As for me, like Josh said, make sure you go check everything out that involves us, the YouTube, all of our socials, the podcast. Make sure you check out the podcast over there, Apple, even on iHeartRadio, Spotify. Leave us a nice little review, a nice little 5-star review, a comment, and something. Tell us that we're wonderful at our jobs. Of course, every Monday, 7 Eastern, we do this. Tuesdays, I got the hard count with me and my boy CJ talking about everything in the NFL world. So we go even more in depth than me and Josh do. And then Thursday, I got Backstop Banter talking about everything in the baseball world. Obviously, free agency is going on right now. There's probably going to be a lockout on Wednesday. So all the free agents are signing their big money contracts right now. A lot going on. We got Marte signing and Scherzer and Corey Seager. And we're going to see where Correa goes. We're also talking to Fenway Chris on this episode, who is the camera guy for Zach Campbell, the guy who goes all different stadiums and catches home run balls. So we'll see, what his experience has been like. But that's all I got. Anthony Conover _ over there on Twitter, Anthony _ Conover on Twitch. And then, like I said, check out everything involving Gen Z, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Check out the gram. And listen, people, it's been a pleasure, as always. And we'll see you next week.